This poem is called The Visitation. A man came to our village once. I won't forget that day. My parents took me with them to hear what he had to say. He'd built up quite a following. There were lots of people there, some listening to his every word, while others stood and stared. They said he was a preacher from somewhere in Galilee, but he wasn't like the others. He spoke with authority. All that went way above my head, why it caused so much fuss. But I knew when first I saw him, he was someone I could trust. After he had spoken for what seemed eternity, my parents took me closer so the man could pray for me. There were other children too being brought forward through the crowd to receive a blessing from the man, but we were not allowed. The men who travelled with him quickly moved to block our path. They were scolding and indignant and refused to let us pass. When the man saw what was happening, he was angry with those men and ordered them to let us through. Prevent them not, he said. Let the children come to me, for have you not perceived that my Father's heavenly kingdom belongs to such as these? If you don't receive God's kingdom as such a child as this, with trusting and dependence, you will never enter it. Soon we were gathered in his arms, and I was close enough to see. He had such kind and loving eyes that seemed to look through me. But I didn't find it frightening. He spoke quietly and said, Father, bless this child, placing his hands upon my head. He blessed each one of us in turn with tenderness and grace, but I couldn't help but see a look of sadness in his face. Soon after that, the man with his disciples went their way and left me with my memories of that great momentous day. Not long ago I overheard my father and a friend discuss news from Jerusalem I could not comprehend. The man had been arrested for claiming to be king and put to the most horrid death to prevent an uprising. But his followers were saying he'd come back to life again and been raised by God to his right hand, forevermore to reign. Even that wasn't the end of it, for his followers laid claim to be performing signs and wonders in their Lord and Saviour's name. I cried so bitterly that night. I couldn't catch my breath, wondering how could such a man as he deserve that awful death. I kept thinking of that day and that sad look upon his face. Is it possible he knew back then that was to be his fate? Those words he said that day were spoken with authority. But did the people listen? Were they ready to receive? Perhaps his words meant that those proud and mighty ones aren't fit. Receive God's kingdom as a child, or you will never enter it. I know little of God's kingdom, for I'm just a child, you see. But I know that if that man is there, it's good enough for me.